Alrighty then. So, we originally stated that there was going to be 3 parts to the Ian Rice interview, but we've noticed that there's way too much content, so it's going to end up being a 4-part interview. This is part 3, and we hope that you will enjoy it. You know, with your friends, is that on a console you're sitting there by yourself, you know, and your friend's by himself in his home, where, you know, playing with slot cars, they can actually have the same fun but actually be together and actually doing it in real life.
And they're interacting, you know.
Yes, that's right.
And with sim racing, you know, you've got your headphones and your microphone. You can be talking to the person you're racing with against or whatever. So, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm an anti-console person,
no.
You know, whatever. There is a place for it. And, I mean, you know, Max Verstappen, you know, he drives the real thing, and he does a lot of console racing, doesn't he? Yes. He does a lot of iRacing, doesn't he? So there is a place for it. But I think there's also a place for, you know, the real world of slot cars. So
well, I'm a console person from way back.
Well, we both
Sega and stuff. But we used to have a thing called PlayStation used to have a memory card, which you could put in and you get your high scores or whatever, and then you could take that memory card to your mate's place and insert it into there, and then they would merge the high scores together. So would you get on the weekend? Oh, you beat me, you bastard! And then we used to have competitions where we all go to somebody's place, and hook up and have 4 players on one screen, but you know 4 with a multi-tap. So that's all gone now because of the internet and stuff. But this is where slot cars comes into where you actually, you know, you're going there. It's a community. You're out there socialising, getting out of the house. It's just all good all round, basically. You know, developing those skills that you can use elsewhere. So going forward, I think it's hugely positive. And then I guess the next thing that I think you mentioned you wanted to talk about was upcoming races and stuff in 2025.
Yes.
Yes, we will do that on our next edit.
Cool down a bit now.
So Ian, you've talked about competitions. You've been in a few, haven't you?
I have. I've the club racing is what I do normally, but then every now and again, you know, a competition comes along and you think, I fancy giving that a go. I don't know how well I'm going to do. I do okay at the club level, so maybe I'll do okay at, you know, a bigger competition. And then last year, I really dipped my toe in the water. I noticed that Electric Dreams were having the Slot It Nationals in August last year, which is 2024. And this was about 4 months out. And I thought to myself, you know what, it sounds crazy, but I actually fancy giving that a go. I can't imagine that I'm going to do very well, because there's going to be some really fast guys over there who know exactly what they're doing, what the track is like, what the conditions are like and everything. So I'm going to go along for different reasons. And so I called up Marco at Slot Shop, the guy who runs the place.
Electric Dreams?
Sorry, I beg your pardon, at Electric Dreams, And I said, you know, would you be willing to take a registration from an overseas racer? And he said, yeah, absolutely, please do. So I did. I went online, signed up, and then I thought, what have I done? I've now got to do this. So then I was on the phone booking, you know, airline tickets and hotels and stuff, and then I had to build a car. And I mentioned this to Eddie at Slot Shop, and he said, typical opportunist Eddie. Eddie said to me, he said, "Would you mind running your car in Slot Shop colours?" And I said, 100%, no problem with that whatsoever. I'm going to be more focused on the setup of the car. The paint job is irrelevant to me, so of course I can. I said, can you just clear it with Marco first, because it's Electric Dreams event and we're talking about a different outlet, albeit on a different continent. But
and you were the only Australian there.
Yes, I was for that year, for 2024. And I was just going, just to dip my toe in the water, like I say. I actually wasn't going there thinking I was going to win or anything. I said to my friends who I race with, I said, I'm going to make friends. I'm going to just see what the US scene is like on something I can relate to, which is slotted Group C cars. And I want to finish in the top half of the field. That's it. That was all I had in terms of objectives. I wasn't going to be disappointed if I achieved all of those objectives.
I think it was 60 odd.
It was 78.
78
people
Some
registered.
Didn't turn up.
I think 73, 73, 74 actually turned up on the day.
To the race.
Yeah.
That's a fair hit.
So, no, it is. And it was a big event.
Yeah.
So I built the car, I painted the car. Eddie produced the stickers. I'll just hold the car in question up. Eddie produced these stickers. So the car is basically green, I beg your pardon, and any of the black you see is as a result of stickers that Eddie got produced for the Slot Shop sponsorship. And it actually came out looking okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Tamiya spray can.
Yeah, absolutely.
One coat of green and that was it. So yes, I was happy with the way it came out, and it looked good on the track. It got into the concourse competition, which I wasn't expecting. So I jumped on a plane. I got over there.
Leaving on a jet plane.
Yeah. Again, thinking to myself, what am I doing? But I needn't have worried because when I arrived there, they were immediately so welcoming.
With open arms and just saying, "Wow, yeah,
thank you for coming all this way." And they gave me a guided tour of the shop, which is just Aladdin's cave on steroids. There's so many display cases with stuff that they sell, stuff that is actually in advance of being released. They've got pre-release stuff there. So when I was there, the MR slot car Corvette was in one of the display cases. Now that's only just gone on sale recently, I think.
No, not yet.
Not yet. We're still waiting.
We're still waiting for Eddie to give.
We've got them prepaid, and we're still waiting for them to be.
Right.
We did ask Marco earlier, and he said the end of April, which is now the end of April. But
the prototype or whatever was actually in the shop in August last year.
Yeah.
So I was like a kid in a candy store, But they gave me the guided tour. They took me out the back to the warehouse. They showed me all their different offices that they use for different purposes. Where they do all of their website preparation, the photos that they take, and what have you, everything you can possibly imagine.
Plus the museum upstairs.
No, it's not at that location.
Isn't it?
Oh, it's not.
No,
upstairs.
No, it's in a completely different location.
Oh, okay.
It's actually in Hollywood, believe it or not.
Oh, right.
Yeah, interesting.
Good place to put it. Hollywood.
Very interesting place to go. Yeah.
They've just recently renovated too. Now they've changed all those tracks.
Yeah. So last year they only had the two tracks, the Dennis Sampson Raceway, which I think is a polycar track, and the Cunningham Raceway, which is the one we raced on. Great track. Really, really good track. Challenging, rewarding, all of the above. 6 lanes, and a really good racetrack. Back then it was Magna Braid. So they had Magna Braid. So if you built your car correctly, and you got the motor as low as you could, you might get a little bit of magnetic downforce from a motor. I wasn't aware of that, so my car didn't have any magnetic downforce. The ground clearance was too high.
They've dispensed with that now. They don't have that.
Yeah, in
braid now.
In January, they took the whole thing apart, and one of their regulars, a very famous guy in the US, a guy called Bob Scott, renovated the track and rebraided it using non-Magna braid. Mm-hmm. So that's not a factor anymore. So that'll be interesting this year. I've
seen them race on it. It's a good track though.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Excellent.
So the race, I was actually there for a week in total. The first couple of days, I was just doing like free practice, trying to get used to the track, trying to work out if I built the car right for that track and that sort of thing, making sure my controller was set up and what have you. And then the Thursday, Friday was...
Did you take your own controller?
I did, yes. So at that time I was using a DeFalco controller. The people who used them, they love them. They're a really good controller. Analog, 100% analog, but really good controller. Solid. You can do maintenance on it if you want to, but reliable, and very good performance. Very, very good performance, and you've got some adjustability in there as well. Thursday, Friday was like free practice. Saturday was qualifying, and Sunday was the race. So they only run one class, slotted Group C, hence the Nissan. The Nissan is a very popular car because the body happens to be very light in relation to the chassis. So a lot of people run Nissans. You'll see that if you watch the videos.
Yeah, that was a popular one, yeah.
Yeah. So much so that the rules actually say if you run the Nissan, you have to put additional ballast on the body to make it up to 16 grams or 18 grams, I can't remember. It might be 16 grams. So that body weight advantage actually went away a little bit, but still the Nissan seemed to be one of the faster cars. So qualifying went very well. I was fairly happy with my lap time. I played it conservative because I didn't want to look like a numpty. Probably left a little bit of time on the table, but I wanted to get a solid lap time in, not a banzai lap time. So I was happy with where I qualified.
You did get the record on the qualifying, I think.
Not on qualifying, but on the race, I did get one of.
Yeah.
I was fastest on one of the lanes, which
A white lane, anyway.
Blue lane.
Blue
lane.
I think that might have been down to conditions changing throughout the day. I think maybe I hit the peak of the track when I was on blue. The lap time was good, but there were cars that were capable of going faster than that, I think. So I might have been fortunate with that one, but I'll take it.
Yeah, of course. Hello.
As you do, and then the race was Sunday. It was quite a grueling day because you had lots of races. It wasn't just one. It was a series of races where you progressively got knocked out and then you got to the final, that sort of thing. So the semi-finals were 12 races, and the best 6 from that would go to the final. Well, I didn't quite make the 12. I came 13th. So I was very happy with 13th, considering that this was an exploratory visit for me. It wasn't I'm going to win. It was an exploratory visit for me. So I learnt a lot. I made a load of friends over there.
Made some, yes.
Really, and
new comrades.
Really good experience. A really good experience. Anyone who's spoken to me about it since, they know that I've not got anything negative to say. The event was superbly organised.
You left a very positive vibe.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and they've got a very successful formula of how they put the events together, and it works. So yeah, that was the Electric Dreams race. I came back after a week. I still had a smile on my face, I'm sure, for weeks afterwards.
As you would.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself. You're 13th out of, what was it, 70
odd. Yeah.
70 odd people. That's a pretty good effort.
Plus going there, be all goo eyes, going look at all the stuff, going, wow.
I didn't know the track. I didn't know the surface. I didn't know how my car was going to respond on that track. I didn't know how the races were organised. I didn't find out until I got there that they'd actually run at 12.5 volts, which is a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Makes the cars a bit peakier.
What do you normally run it at?
12.
Oh, okay, so a bit.
But you can tell the difference.
Okay.
You can tell the difference. Yeah. So, it was just fun all the way through. All the way through. And what a great bunch of guys. And some of those guys, they've been racing for like 40 years.
Yeah.
I mentioned Bob Scott earlier. He's very famous for his track work that he does. Equally, you've got guys who've been racing for the same amount of time, and yeah. I
watched them, and Ian Douglas, and you're familiar with him, yeah. He's got his own little show out now, the Spinning Pinion.
Spinning Pinion with Todd, yeah.
With Todd, who's on, as we speak, we're taking this video, is on Marty's channel at the present time.
Yeah.
And they're all just love the hobby.
Yeah.
It's just passionate about it.
It was a brilliant event, and I'll be wanting to go again in 2025. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be going this year?
Yeah, that's my current plan. A couple of the guys over there have asked me if I'll be over there or not, and I've said yes, I will be. And I'll work with Eddie again, and we'll work on some sponsorship type of arrangement. But yeah, it was too good.
So where's that going to be?
It'll be Electric Dreams again on the Cunningham Raceway. Same track.
That's at Los Angeles, yeah.
Sorry, it is. Los Angeles. Yes, right next to the airport.
Is it convenient?
Yeah. Convenient, yes.
Yeah, very.
Did they come out? The little bus come out and pick you up? Little Marco's little.
It didn't,
van.
but there were other occasions when the Electric Dreams van actually ferried us around.
The shuttle bus.
So I actually did a visit to the LA Slot Car Museum.
Yeah.
And yes, we all went in the shuttle bus, and it was surreal. I think Carlos drove us on the way over. And on the way back, Michael Nemes was driving us through LA, back to Electric Dreams.
Are you on that show? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, Michael Nemes, who I've got tremendous respect for, because if you look at Michael's model making, there's a beautiful YouTube video of him from
meticulous.
Yeah, and his 124th cars and what have you. The channel is Welt, the German documentary maker. And there's an hour video of Michael's work, and it's just mind.
And another nice bloke too.
Hugely.
I've never met any of these. I've only met you. And you're a nice bloke, so you can see them.
Michael is top drawer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a lovely guy, remarkably capable with what he does, but so down to earth at the same time. Got on very well with Michael. Actually, a bit of a story from the Electric Dreams event. Michael was there, and he was running a Nissan as well. And during the practice days, the Thursday and Friday, he was having trouble with his car. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this because it was quite humorous. And I was stood next to him, so I was on yellow lane and he was on blue lane, and I was running my car, and it was going okay. I was quite happy, but what I could hear to the right of me was Michael swearing under his breath because he couldn't get his car to work. So, we kind of eventually started talking. I said, do you know what the problem is? He said, the front is just not behaving. So I said, well, do you want me to have a look at it? So, long story short, I had a look at it. I found a couple of issues, and I said, do you want me to fix it, or do you want me to tell you and then you fix it? He said, oh, no, just tell me and I'll fix it. I said, okay, so what you need to do, and I told him what to do. And he came back 5 minutes later, put it on the track, and he said, oh, the problem's gone away. It's just gone now. So suddenly his car is now faster than mine. And I'm thinking I'm the biggest idiot on the planet because Michael can drive as well. He's not just a superb model, he can drive.
All rounder,
Yeah, so I'm thinking, what have you just done, Ian? So maybe 13th could have been 12th if I kept my mouth shut.
But that's the kind of guy you are.
That's how we want the community to be.
That's what the community is. That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what we want. So, yeah,
we help a comrade in arms. Yes. Yeah, basically.
And Michael was very, very, very kind to me later in the race meet. So, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? So that was good. It was immensely positive. So how I'm going to follow up on that one in 2025, I don't know. I think I need to reassess my targets. I should just obviously refoster those friendships, enjoy the event.
We'll have to find out if Ian and Dougie are going to do the commentary for that one.
I believe they are.
Are they?
Yeah, I had a very short interaction with Doug recently on one of the video feeds, and I believe they're going to go in August again.
Okay.
And it's a very popular part of the event. because the
they do great commentary,
and it adds another level to the event as a whole. So
it does.
I know that Marco will want them to go over.
Yeah, because they are the they just what do you say? Yeah, that's it.
The way they bounce off each other.
Characters,
they do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're like Morecambe and Wise of the. Who knows Morecambe and Wise? I'm showing my age there. Anyway.
Yeah. So that was